Hey, I hope you're doing well today. And today I'll build a faceless video automation for you. So we're going to be posting on all the biggest social media platforms on this planet. And this automation is just going to be posting videos on a daily basis for you based on the biggest and most viral news that's out there in the world today. Let's get into it.
Oh my gosh, you guys, Google's literally talking to dolphins now. Their new Dolphin Gemma AI is decoding all those clicks and whistles that dolphins make, working with actual scientists who've studied wild Atlantic spotted dolphins for years. This technology analyzes dolphin sounds to find patterns and even predict what they'll say next. Plus, they've created this chat system that pairs special whistles with objects so humans and dolphins can actually communicate back and forth. Okay, you guys, hit follow to stay ahead on the coolest AI stuff.
All right, so let's get into this. So we're starting off with a trigger. Okay, so obviously you'd have a scheduled trigger in this case. For testing purposes, I'm just using a when clicking test workflow. Now, what's happening here is that I'm generating a session ID just with some code here because I'm not using a chat input. Okay, so I don't actually get a session ID from it. I'm just generating that. Now, what I'm using here is called Brutalist. Okay, so it's just a simple get method. And I'm just going directly to the URL for Brutalist. Now, Brutalist, if you're unaware what it is, I'll just jump over right here. What Brutalist is kind of like a Hacker News, right? But the reason why I like this more is because it's pulling in a lot more information from many different sources for many different topics. So Hacker News is more like tech related, whereas this one here, you can get some business related things. You've got gaming, culture, whatever that means. Politics, sports. So if you had like different angles that you wanted to take and you want to do like different niches and things like that, you could choose which one you want right here as well. Now, after that, if we actually get this Brutalist data right here, and I'll just show you really quick, what we're going to get is just, a whole mess of information right here, right? So what I want to be doing with that information is sanitizing it essentially. Okay, so rather than leaving it like that, I want to get structured, clean data. Okay, so if I press test step right here with this JavaScript code, what I'll be left with from all of this is beautiful data right here. So we can see the URL, we can see the actual, the headline or the text, okay? So we can see everything right here very, very clearly. And that's going to be important because we're going to be putting that through to our agent as well. So after that, we're just doing a simple split, okay? So I just want to split everything out really easily, just so that when I pass it over to my little agent over here as well, that it can also access all that information very easily. Now for the if node right here, I'm just setting this for remove PDF. So if any of these have PDFs in them, I will pretty much essentially, just removing those from the list. So if I do a little test step here, you probably see a few get removed because sometimes people do post just simple PDFs as well. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with that. But for, my AI agent to handle, I don't want PDFs. I just want articles. And then we're just doing keywords. So in here, I have set keywords of what like I want to be kind of taking from all of these headlines. Okay. So I don't want some things and I do want some things. So in this case, obviously, for me in particular, I want to get AI stuff, things related to OpenAI, maybe MCPs, Claude, AI agents, automations, and so on and so forth, right? So that's the kind of information that I want to pass through, because once that's passed through, we're going to come through another code node right here. And what this is going to do is take this data right here and actually give it numbers in an array. So you'll see it right here in a sec. So there we go. So each of these actually have a number now, and this is just a headline. So all the headlines are in here, which were passed through based on the keywords that I liked, now have numbers. And the reason why I put them in an array is because I'm going to pass them directly to my agent here. And he or she, or it, is going to scan all of these, look through them all, and determine which one for my audience would be the most appealing. Okay, so if I actually jump into the little system message right here, we can see goal, choose one headline out of the list you have received and output this headline with its score and a brief reason. Okay, so basically it's looking through all these headlines here, and if I give them a little number at the start, it's kind of easier for the agent to differentiate between all the headlines as well. By then, you're getting your headline. That's getting passed through. We're going through a little merge node right here. Okay. So this is actually merging with, let me just see. Yeah. So we're merging with the split right here. Now, there's an important reason for that, because if I just test this step right here, and I'm going to get the headline, and then it'll choose the headline. So which one is it like? It likes Dolphin Gamma, how Google AI is helping decode dolphin communication. Okay. And if we actually pass it through the merge node here, okay, and I'm going to pass that through. Now, based on the URL previously, which was generated from this code right here, from this mess, okay, based on this, this is going to match the URL, okay? So it's going to take that headline, and it's going to find it within this whole list of headlines here and output the URL which is associated with that headline. So if I test this step, we should get that Gamma headline. There we go. And then there's that related URL as well. Now you might be thinking like, okay, well, why would you do it that way? Well, it's very simple. So if I pass that information through, let's say to my agent, okay, so I could easily just pass all the headlines with their corresponding URLs as well. Now, if I pass that information directly to my agent, that information is redundant, okay? It doesn't mean anything because all I want it to do is choose a headline. So if I actually added in all those URLs, we would be just, giving too much information to the agent, which isn't that important. And that's another thing that you got to be thinking about with your agents, is that you want to be so specific about what you give to your agents in terms of the data you are giving it, okay? So in this case, I'm just giving it the headlines, and then I'll find that URL again later on with some code, and there we go, okay? So I've got that URL back again based on the one our agent has actually chosen as well. Now, after that, we're going through Tavily, okay? So Tavily, all this is doing is I'm taking that URL again, okay, based on that headline, and I'm just getting raw content from Tavily, okay? So this is just directly using an extract right here. There's my API key. Okay, I'm going to have to delete my account now. But if we have a look at this, we see all the raw content here, okay? So the raw content is being passed through. I'm then sanitizing that again. Simple stuff, right? Because this does, it does have a little bit of HTML in it. Hey, wait, does it? Well, it used to anyway. But anyway, I've cleaned all that again, okay? So it's nice and clean. And then I'm passing it through a summarization chain. So if we pass it through the summarization chain, it's just going to put it through chunks, break it down into chunks, and pretty much, summarize everything for me. And now I get a little bit of a snippet of this right here. And that's going to be important because, again, I'm going to be passing it through another, well, in this case, not an agent, but an LLM chain. So all I want this LLM chain to do is just pretty much repurpose this summarized article right here, and then, improve it, make it, sound more viral or whatever, give it some hooks and everything for our videos. So if we look at this system prompt right here as well, it's very simple. So you're a viral script writer for a short form content on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, crafting videos that sound like a super pumped friend gushing about something awesome. But the thing that I've added in here as well to make it sound a little bit more realistic, because we are using voice generated, audio as well. So I've said here it's like someone's chatting you up in person. Sprinkle in okay, like you guys, or literally to keep it natural and fun. And this is just adding that little extra touch so that our scripts actually sound more human as well. Okay, so we're trying to make this sound like as if it was a person talking rather than an AI actually talking, obviously. And then once the script is done, all we're doing here is generating some prompts. Okay, so from here, I'll just test this step. It's going to have to go through the viral script writer as well, obviously. All right, so we can see here that the prompt generator's made a hook. Okay, so this is going to be the first video that pops up. And then we have prompt 2, prompt 3, prompt 4, prompt 5. Now, these prompts are the prompts that are going to be going to our video generation model, okay? So those are being passed straight over. So we're doing a little split right there, and then that's coming down over here into a loop over items, okay? Now, for the loop over items, I'm going directly into replicate. Now, the actual video generation model that I'm using is this one right here. Now, it is only 540p, but the reason why I'm using this, okay, is because it is, what is that, 3 cents or 3.3 cents? So this one here, I actually calculate, I think it is 16.5 cents per 5 seconds, because you do have to have a minimum of 5 seconds. So you can't just be like, choose, oh, I just want 2 seconds. No, you do have to get a minimum of 5. And for a video generation model, 16.5 cents is not too bad, okay? And the results are pretty good. So I'm pretty happy with it as well. And that's just looping straight through replicate. Okay, so we're just going straight through. I'm just using the endpoint for this particular video generation model. So we can just always pick those up through the API right here. And if we just come over, we just click on HTTP, and we can just copy this curl, and we bring it back over here. And you see this little import curl button. We click that, we paste it in here, and then you just import it. Okay, and from there, there's my API key again. Terrific. You would just be putting in your API key and then setting some adjustments based on the parameters that you want to add as well. So in my case, obviously, I want a 9:16 video, and then I'm just putting in the prompt. Okay, so that's the prompt that's coming through our prompt generator over here. Okay, so those are going to be passing straight through the loop by one, and then coming over, and we're going to render the videos. So we don't want to take those videos and get those videos straight away. We want to let them sit there for a little bit to render, to run, and to, you know, finally output the video. Because if we go too fast, these videos here might not even be ready yet. So by the time we come over, let's say, to our little editor section over here, this won't even be able to edit anything because these aren't even ready. So we need to make sure we put a timer on, okay? So I've set the timer here for 2 minutes. Some video generation models even require 5 to 10 minutes, okay? So you would have to do some tests and determine kind of, you know, how long it takes. And from this point, all you're doing is just get predictions, okay? So predictions is what they call it on Replicate. So if we jump over to our dashboard right here, we see predictions, okay? I'll just open that up really quick just to show you. So this is where all, you know, everything that we're creating is, you know, showing up on our Replicate dashboard, okay? So everything that I've generated here is going to be here, and we can actually just click on them one by one as well and see everything here as well. And then after I've gotten all those videos, I'm going through an aggregate, because I want to turn all of those video links, okay, the output, the MP4 URLs, and I want to put them in a list, okay, because I'm going to pass that list over to a merge, okay. So this is one of 4 items that are being passed through to this merge. Now, after this, you know, we also have the captions being passed through here, which is coming through to the first input. So the captions is very simple. It's just taking that actual script, okay, that was generated by a viral script writer, and then it's just creating a simple, you know, 20, 30 word caption for it. And then our voiceover as well. So our voiceover is coming from directly from the viral script writer. I've sent it straight down here, and it's coming right down here, and we see create voice. So this is using something called Fish Audio. So if we jump over here, Fish Audio, and I do have a lot of interesting voices in here as well, like Donald Trump. Well, they have this energetic male is actually really good as well. This is the one I'm using for the videos that I made. Okay, so anytime you do want to use a voice as well, you can just click it, open it up right here, and see these little three dots rather. We click on that, and we just press on Copy Model ID. So once we copy Model ID, I'll show you right here as well. Get him out of the way. Now, once we copy that Model ID, we can actually open this up. And our model ID will actually be right here under the reference ID. Okay, so that reference ID is going to be related and, you know, to that model ID that you got, and that's going to actually deliver and make that voice based on the one that you chose. So everything in here is very, very simple. All we're doing is just setting the endpoint here. Okay, we're putting in our authorization with our API key. We've chosen the model here as speech-, -1.6. Now JSON body here is just going to have the text, which is just going to be our script. So on the result side here, we can see that script that I've made, the reference ID, which is the one I mentioned before. And then I've just played around with the temperature and the top P a little bit as well. So I had this originally at like 7, which I think is like default. Then I upped it again, to about 9, or 0.9, I mean. And it was a little bit, it was actually really good. And then you start getting weird voices coming through, like creepy stuff, So I brought it back down a bit. But I mean, play around with it too, like don't just follow this exactly how it is. I play around with it. I like to test things as well. This is what I'm testing at the moment. It seems to be doing a lot better. Now, once you actually generate the voice as well, you're going to be left with a binary file here. Okay. Now, if we're editing, like I'm using I'll show you later on, but I'm using something called Shotstack, which is like a cloud video editor. Okay. So I can't actually pass a binary file like this through to it. It would need a URL. Okay. So what I've done here is I've uploaded to my Google Drive. Okay. So I've uploaded everything here from the data. It's being uploaded to my Google Drive. It's then going through set permissions. So I've actually just used another endpoint for Google, and I've just set the permissions on that ID. Okay, so on that ID of that file that I just uploaded, it's going to then set the permissions. So we can see here the name, role, reader, and the type is anyone. So it's essentially just putting the file to public so other people can access it, where in this case it would be the cloud video editor Shotstack. And then I'm just, make the URL just to be a little bit more neat. So then we can see in the JSON body right here, I just have this, and then this is the ID right here. And then it's just export equals download. And that will actually be like a URL that Shotstack can actually use. And then at the bottom here for the last one, this is just creating music. So if I jump back over to replicate really quick, and it's this one right here. So again, you can play around with this. You can choose a different API as well. This is just one that I'm testing out today, but this one here seems to be pretty decent. Okay, so it's running, it's warm as well, meaning that it's going to be pretty fast in delivering the results. But yeah, test it out. Give it a little prompt here as well. Have a listen to it and see if you like it. For me, it's working pretty well though. And now just looking at the little setup here for the create music. So again, we just have our predictions here. So this is just going to be the same endpoint pretty much for all of Replicate. So this is why I really like using Replicate. It makes things easy. And we have our API key section here. We have the prefer and wait. And then we just have the JSON body. So the JSON body here, I've actually hard coded the prompt in here. Okay. So I've just said upbeat ambient music. Now, if you want something else, if you want to add like, you could say something like upbeat ambient music, if that makes, I don't even know if that makes sense, but you can play around with it. All right. If you wanted to like horror music and a horror theme or something like that, give that a shot as well. And then just down here below it, we just have the duration. So I've just set this as 32. I mean, honestly, I could just set it for 30 because my videos are going to be 30 seconds long. And then a similar concept here. So once we are generating that music, just like we're generating everything else, we're going to be waiting. Okay. So we're going to render this music. And in this case, I'm waiting for 2 minutes before, we even continue with this automation. Once we pass that 2 minutes, we're getting the music. Okay. So I'm going directly to that predictions URL endpoint right here. And then I'm using the ID. Okay. So the ID from the create music, it's going to output an ID. And that ID I'm just putting straight into here so that it knows which ID to get. Because if you look at my predictions right here, you can see I have a lot of IDs right here, right? So this one here just allows it to pick this particular ID for that music. Okay. So that's going to be the one that gets passed through. So we're going to get that music. Then we're going to get the music URL. Okay. And that's going to be our last little item to pass through to the merge. Now, once that's passed through to the merge, okay, so all we're doing is just setting 4 inputs as mode append. We're going through another aggregate right here. Okay, so we're just going to aggregate that. Nothing special going on here. Okay, the reason why we want to aggregate it though is because if we don't aggregate it, what is going to happen is that 4 items are going to pass through and 4 items are going to output out of this merge. Once 4 items output out of this merge, it's going to go through our Shotstack video editor right here, right? Now, what happens then is it's going to actually create 4 videos rather than 1. We don't want that. We want to aggregate it first so that we make 1 item, okay? and then we pass it through to Shotstack. So that way we only get, one video made each time, because we don't need 4, because don't forget, they're going to be 4 of the same video. We don't want that. All right, so talking about Shotstack, if you haven't heard about it before, okay, so just show you the website really quick. So this is going to be a cloud video editing API, okay, so we can connect to this, and this can actually edit our videos in the cloud, which is really awesome if you think about it. So the setup on this one is pretty tricky though, because you can't miss even a little detail on this one. So we're just doing a method post. We're going to the endpoint here for Shotstack. We've just put in content type application JSON. There's my API key. Please don't use it. Then we have accept application JSON, but this is where it gets tricky. So if we expand this, this is how the editing is happening. Okay. So up here above, we have SRC, and this is where my music is going to come through. So what I've done here as well is set the music volume, so like the background music, okay, and I've set the volume to a 0.05, and this just allows the voiceover, to be more distinct, so people can actually hear it, when the video is playing. So I think at 0.05, you could probably even go 0.07 or 0.10 as well, would probably work. Again, test it out, see how it works for you. And then here is going to be all our clips, okay, so we can see our clips coming through. The type is a video. This is just the expression, which is linking to that particular video as well. And then our time. So all we're doing here is just thinking like this. So we're starting at 0. This is when this video starts at 0. It's going to go for 1.5 seconds long. Same thing going on here. But instead, we're starting at 1.5 seconds. It's going to go for 1.5 seconds. Then we're starting at 3 seconds for a length of 1 second. Okay, so this doesn't mean you have to do it exactly like this. The reason why I did this is because for the hook, I could have the scenes, rapidly changing, okay, rather than just having one static scene just lasting for 5 seconds. I decided to take a few different scenes and put them through a succession of rapid scene changes. And then we start going into the normal duration. So in this one here, we have 5 seconds on this one. We have 5 seconds on this one. And then all the way down till 29 seconds in total. And then down here, we have the voiceover URL. So this is going to be that one from Fish Audio, the one that we uploaded to Google and then output another link. And this is going to start at 0 seconds, meaning it's going to start at the beginning of the video and then end at 29 seconds because that's the end of the video. And then we just format as MP4, resolution mobile, aspect ratio 9:16. And then after this, we're just doing another wait, okay, because we want to let that render. Shotstack is pretty quick. But if you had long videos, I wouldn't be putting this at 30 seconds. I might put it even at 5 minutes. But for my case, 30 seconds has been working absolutely fine. And then we're just getting those videos. So we're, similar concept like to replicate. We're just using an ID with the endpoint here, which is the render endpoint. And then we're using that ID at the end. And that's actually going to be able to get that video, okay, or show us the status of the video if it's not ready yet. And then from here, once that video is ready from Shotstack, we're getting that video, okay, so then we have the URL, and we're creating captions for it. So again, we're just using replicate, and in this case, I'm using the auto caption here, okay? So again, you can, adjust the settings, use whatever you want kind of thing, you can always test it through the interface right here as well, which makes things a little bit easier. And this just allows you, if you want to change the colors around, if you want to change the highlights around, the font size, but they also recommend at the bottom here, if you were running Reels, have the font size at a 4, and with the max chars here, 10 is also good for Reels. So just take that in mind as well. Otherwise, all the text is going to be way too big for mobile, and it'll just look all funky. And then at the bottom, we can just see the JSON body here. So this is just me setting it all up. Okay, so what font I'm using, the max chars, which we just discussed before, the font size, the stroke width, the position. Okay, so this is important as well. If you want it to be in the center, you're going to have to set that up as well. The highlight color, play around with that. You could go with yellow, you could go with blue, you could go with red. And I changed the kerning as well to a -2 because I think the kerning that they used was a little bit too, it seemed like there was too much space going on there as well. And then again, we're just rendering that video again. So that video is going through this is supposed to be 2 minutes, and it's going to render for 2 minutes. Once it's all done, we're getting that final video. So again, we're just doing that prediction thing just like we did before. That's an outputting video, and then we're setting all our accounts, okay? So this is where you'd be setting in all your accounts for your actual Blotato account. Now, if you're unsure what Blotato is, it is, yeah, you can make videos on here directly. Now, what I like about it is that they have all the integrations with the apps right here. So all we have to do is just log in, okay? And they already have all the apps and everything set up. Now, once we log in, we come back over here. All we're going to have to do, okay, is just set everything in our accounts right here, okay? So we can see my video caption as well is being passed through. And all these IDs, we just want to set them all up. Once we set them all up, they're going to be coming through all of these nodes right here. Okay, so this one here is obviously going to TikTok. This one here is going to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Okay, so that's just going to allow you to, what do you call that again? Cross share, I believe you call it. And where you go, to all the social medias all at once. So the end idea here is that you're running this now with, you're going to take this out, obviously. Use this for testing purposes though, okay? Test everything out, make sure everything works and, the way that you want it to work as well. And you're going to connect that, okay? So you'll connect that schedule trigger and then you just want to set it up here. So what would I set it for? Like every 1 day? Would I set it for maybe every 3 days? This is totally up to you at this point, right? So I think for most cases, for most people, they'll probably set it for 1 day. So this whole automation is going to be run once a day. Post to all of the accounts that you have down here. So we have Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Now, if you do want more social media accounts to add as well, obviously, if you want to go to Blue Sky, if you want to go to Pinterest and everything as well, just add them in, okay? Then you can just create another HTTP request right here and then just add that in and connect it and boom, send it over as well. And that's going to be the end of the video. Now, I'm really tired shooting this one here. I mean, it's just hit 5 a.m. I tried my best to shoot it all right. But I just want to get it out before I go to bed just so it's just done. I don't have to think about it again. But I'm going to have it on my school community. If you do want to join, you do want to grab the template, feel free. But if not, of course, I'll see you in the next video.